unscrew each one of these bolts that I've set in here for safekeeping. I just hand tighten them so that the bolts stay there where they are instead of a hole straight to the ground. These do seem to have drainage holes or something right next to them too, but that's what you need to do first. These weren't intended to be taken out, so they're actually pretty hard to carry. I just grab it by here and by there so that I hold that part and carry it up along my leg like that. It's not too bad. But you're going to take that guy and stick him in there like you would be sitting if you were driving away with him. So again, they're oriented the way that they go in the car. Alright, I took the bolts out before I took the straps off when I removed the seats, but I'm going to reverse that putting it in. I'm going to go ahead and put in the bolts, and look, it lines up to that. Lines up to that. So I'm just going to grab my bolts, and all you need to do is hand tighten them first. I'll have to push this down with the other hand, so I'm going to set the camera down. Just hand tighten them. I'm not going to crank them until I've got everything together, and then I can go ahead and tighten them. I had to put pretty much force right down here in order to get him started, but it's not a big deal. Then I hand tighten him, and I did go ahead and tighten him down. Again, I did not crank it all the way tight. Right now it's 15mm socket. I used a 4-inch extension. It's not necessary for this part, but it makes it more convenient. The 1/3 split seat obviously is a little bit lighter than the other, and as you lay them down, it snaps into their hooks, so it really lines them up pretty well. You don't really have to do much. Press down with your hand, twist them in, a screw or the bolt, hand tighten them. I'm going to go ahead and tighten them down a little bit more before I put in my to get my strap in. Of course, I'm going to need to release the feet there. I'm going to go ahead and let them hang back. Do the same with this one. I'm going to come in from the other side then and get this little guy on here. So this piece here, not the actual cable himself, you wouldn't have enough screw to do that. It's going to get hooked on there, and you have to lean the seat forward in order to be able to reach. So you have to pull it up like this some, and then you have to be able to get in there first. And so the latch goes over this, and that's what, you know, keeps it from flopping back too far. This piece right here that keeps your seat from flopping back should already be through his thing. If he's not, first through the back side of that, then through this, and it doesn't matter which way it's turned right now because it's going to be able to bend. I'll try and show you how to hook him. Drag that into you, hook him on here, hooked into there. So this requires a 10mm nut. On this side, there's not enough room here to use my socket, so I use a 10mm wrench in there. So like always, just go ahead and start them with your fingers. Then you're gonna have to tighten it down with a 10mm. To connect this piece, this faces out. You can see where the old nut went, and it's got to go onto this stud here. So you have to pull the seat forward in order to be able to reach, and then slide it on. It requires a 10mm nut to keep the cable in place. On this side, there's not enough room to use your socket, so you do need to use an open-end wrench. After getting it finger tight, just take my wrench and tighten him down until he's in there nice and snug. With the shock out of your way here and a larger seat, it's much easier to get this one on. It's easier to see. Just gonna lean the seat forward again, slide him over the top of the seat, and put the stay nut on to keep him in place. And this time I am going to use my, with it already finger tight, just going to go ahead and crank him in. You could use an extension to go on the other side of this arm, but I think it's easier to just go this way. Just crank him all the way in, and once you're done with that, we're going to go back and tighten up the rest and put on the cover. To all four, you're gonna tighten them down to get them all cranked on all the way. And I'll tighten and take the caps. That's how you do that. To reverse this, take it off, just take a screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, and get it underneath the edges, and you're set. And our seats are back in. Pull the right latch, set them up, whatever you want. I just said I was done. I was incorrect. I've got to take my seat belt, and this little piece here just stabs into this. And put them on the right way, otherwise you wind up twisted all the time. Sticks them right in there. Actually, I don't even know if it'll hook in the wrong way. To get it out of there, you just take a flathead screwdriver and apply pressure right here, and it'll pop out. Now, you're back together, ready to go.